Hi guys, it's me, the Dweeb, coming back after last week. I was sick in bed, seriously, most of the week. I was able to make it to work, and then I would literally come home and just crawl in bed and stay there all night long and watch 90 Day Fiancé. I finally got on the 90 Day Fiancé train. I am late to the party, I know, but I am almost officially caught up. I am on season 6, almost done with season 6, and then I'll start season 7, and just in time too, because season 7 is wrapping up, so I'll binge through that, and then I'll be completely caught up. The way I did it is I started watching season 1, and then I was like, I'm kind of bored, but there's no way that I should be bored because this is supposed to be amazing. Like, literally everybody talks about it. So I did what I usually do, and I started with season 5. I'm telling you guys, as a pro reality TV watcher, you need to start with the latest season on reality TV. It's going to be the best one. Never start with season 1 because it's going to take you a long time to get into it. That's just a pro tip. So I started with season 5 and then went to season 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I went to season 6 because honestly, 1 through 5 are all that's on Hulu, and then I got season 6 off my on demand. And season 7 is on demand as well, so I will be all caught up with that, and then I'm gonna start watching spinoffs because I just can't quit. I love it. I'm obsessed. And I'm obsessed in a good way, obviously, but also where I kind of want to go find these people and shake some sense into them. Season 6 right now, there's this guy named Steven that I literally want to spit on. I would never spit on anybody, but if I had to spit on somebody, it would be him. He's actually the worst human being ever. And if you watch 90 Day Fiancé and you know what I'm talking about, or you know who I'm talking about, then you know. And if you don't agree, you're wrong because he's just the worst guy in the entire world. But I don't really want to talk about him right now. I will maybe get into some 90 Day Fiancé next week, or more into 90 Day Fiancé, I should say, when I'm caught up on the franchise, when I'm caught up on season 7. Hi, I can't talk, but never can. Okay, so because I didn't podcast last week, I have a lot to talk about this week. First, let's start with the Oscars, which was on Sunday. Honestly, the Oscars are so boring. It's insane. I'm always excited for an award show, though, because I love a red carpet. I love all the red carpet footage. All the fashion, I thought that this year was really good, for the most part. There were a few people that I feel like really missed the boat, but for the most part, I feel like everyone showed up. They brought their A game. They saved their best dresses for the last minute, for the last award show, which was really, really good. Everyone's talking about two things. Everyone's talking about Eminem's performance and why Black China was there. So let's get into that a little bit. Okay, Black China was walking the red carpet, and I will say she didn't look bad. Which, not that she is known for looking bad, but I mean, you wouldn't think that Black China at the Oscars. Well, first of all, they don't go together, but second of all, what would she wear with her style and stuff? But I will say she wore this black velvet dress with shoulder embellishments and sleeve embellishments and things like that. And it was really cute. It was black and blue. And honestly, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it at all. I liked her Grammys dress better. I think her Grammys dress would have been better for the Oscars. And this dress that she wore to the Oscars would have been better for the Grammys. I do think she should have flopped it, but not mad at either, honestly. She was apparently invited by some producer. I don't know his name. I don't think many people do. I think he's pretty bottom of the totem pole. Not that that's a bad thing, but he did get invited to the Oscars, and she was his +1. She didn't walk the carpet with him, which I kind of think that's a little bit rude. If you're going to be someone's +1, you better walk the carpet with them. But I mean, as celebrities, they probably didn't want, the rumor mill starting of oh my God, Black China's dating something. He has a really weird name. It's not his name. He goes by something. I think it's Fathead or something. I could be totally wrong, but I know it's not normal. It's kind of weird. It's oh, that's the name you want to be called. Yeah, not loving that. But I did think she looked pretty. Didn't see her the rest of the night, just saw her on the red carpet. Apparently the red carpet stayed open for her as well, which is a fun little fact. She got there kind of late and the carpet was supposed to wrap at 1 and she didn't get there till like 1:30 and they stayed open for her. So, I mean, they knew she was coming. It was a big deal. And you cannot get on that carpet without an invite. It is so packed to the brim with security because everyone and their brother wants to be on the Oscars red carpet. So, yeah. She didn't break in. She didn't, sneak in. She was invited. She was supposed to be there. They stayed open for her. Everyone get off her back. And she looked pretty. Okay. Next thing that people are talking about from the Oscars, besides the Oscars, is that Eminem performance. I love Eminem. Like, I always have, always will. Like, I love an angry rapper. Like, who doesn't though, right? So he kind of came out of nowhere. They were doing like a little movie montage and 8 Mile was in there. And then all of a sudden he's on stage and he's singing Lose Yourself. And the crowd was very divided. People were either loving it or were very confused. They cut to Billie Eilish. She looked a little bit confused, but that's probably because she was like born the year that song came out. And they cut to the lady that plays, who's the voice of Elsa. I can't pronounce her name, and I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to John Travolta it for that joke. If you guys don't know, John Travolta was at the Oscars a few years ago when Frozen first came out, and he totally butchered her name, which Idina Menzel, I think is how you say it. But, I mean, it is a hard name to say, but, like, whatever. She was cut to, and she just looked completely confused. She was like, yeah, okay. And then they cut to, I think his name is Martin something. And I'm so bad with names. It's a crime. I know, but I don't care. Martin something. He's an older gentleman, and he was like sleeping through the performance. So, yeah, I liked it personally. I think the Oscars are so boring. So it was a good like little middle way of like, wake the fuck up. The show's not over. And I really liked it. I also really liked, obviously, Billie Eilish's performance. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was a good little montage song to everyone that had passed away this year. They did leave out 2 people, and that's that Disney star. I don't know his name. What's his name? The Disney star that died in his sleep from a seizure. Let me look it up because I want to like say his name. And then also... You know what? I should look these things up before I get on here. Hold on. Disney star that passed away recently. What's his name? Luke Perry is the other one that they forgot to put in there. Cameron Boyce is the one that they forgot. Obviously, there was a lot of people in there. Kobe Bryant was the first one that popped up, and that was, still fresh on everyone's mind. So that tugged on everyone's little bitty heartstrings, as it should. I also really liked how she was singing a Beatles song. If you know where I can find that song, let me know because I want to add it to my Spotify list. Not the actual Beatles song Yesterday, Billie Eilish's rendition of Yesterday. Because it was beautiful. Her voice is just like a siren. Like she belongs like in the ocean, like capturing fishermen. Like it's insane. Okay, that's all I have on the Grammys because like I said, the Grammys are boring. Moving on to The Bachelor. The Bachelor, sit tight, guys. Get comfy because we are going to be talking about this for a hot minute because a lot happened last week. And as I said earlier, I didn't podcast, as you know. And then a lot happened this week. So let's start with last week. It was a 3-hour episode on Monday. We got to say hi and bye to Elena again. She showed up out of nowhere and made her presence known. The girls were once again pissed. But long story short, it didn't work out and she ended up going home as she should. Another surprise was Victoria P got sent home. I honestly thought Victoria P could win this. I thought she just seemed like a wholesome person that Pete might be looking for, but he apparently didn't feel it for her and he let her go. And she was pissed. And yeah, so she's gone. I wonder if she'll be the new Bachelorette. I mean, I cannot, like, if someone put a gun to my head and was like, tell me who you think is going to be the Bachelorette, they would have to shoot me because I feel like there are so many good contenders to be the next Bachelorette. We'll get a little bit more into that lately, but I do think Victoria P is a good contender to be a Bachelorette for next season or for the next Bachelorette season. They had this like weird photo shoot last week, and all the girls were competing against each other. Pete was like making out with each and every single one of them. Not really, but kinda. And they were all in their bathing suits in like the middle of the forest and da 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 da. Victoria F ended up winning, but drama. So first, let me back up and say that Victoria F won the photo shoot, which the prize was to then be on the cover of Cosmo with Peter. But, as we do, we did some digging and we found really racist photos of Victoria F wearing hats and shirts and all that stuff that says white lives matter. And that just isn't cool. So she was kicked off is not the right word. She was, how can I phrase this? Cosmo no longer wanted her on the cover of their magazine. So they pulled the cover, basically. I don't know. It took a long time for me to get there, but I got there. It took a long time for her to be found out on that, if you ask me. I mean, I don't know why we didn't find that out like the first night we met her and like get her out of there. But Peter was on Good Morning America shortly after that was discovered, which that was discovered like Tuesday, like last Tuesday. And he stuck up for her, which then got people thinking maybe he picked her because he was sticking up for her. But hello, guys, this is the name of the game. These people are trained to not break. They will not break. It is part of their contract. It is part of why they're getting paid. They cannot tell you shit until it is on TV. So whatever. But yeah, she's, still hanging out in The Bachelor. She's one of the 4 girls that is going to go visit home with Peter. But we'll get more into that a little bit later. Let's see. What's next? Kelsey going to talk. What's that about? Oh, so everyone was saying that Kelsey was like crazy and she was an alcoholic and she was doing pills. And by everyone, I just mean Tammy. And so Kelsey took it upon herself to go find Peter at the place that he is staying and have a little conversation with him about, the people talking about her and how like that's not true and she's here for all the right reasons and da 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 da. I thought that was ballsy of her. I mean, I thought that was like, I would have done that. Like, hello, you're not going to like tarnish my name and I'm just going to like sit around and wait to like go home if I really like this guy. So I thought that was cool that she went and took it upon herself. When she came back, the girls were not happy and it ended up costing the girls a cocktail party. So as we all know, before rose ceremony, there's usually a cocktail party. There was not a cocktail party last Monday because Peter knew what he needed to know. But wait, because when the rose ceremony started, Tammy and McKenna both interrupted and was like, Peter, I'm going to talk to you for a second. And yeah, they were going to go home. They were definitely going to go home that night, but because they both were like, can I talk to you for a second? They were saved. So that sucked. I don't like either one of those girls, but good news about them in just a moment. Lexi and Cheyenne ended up being the 2 that got the boot last Monday night on that 3-hour episode. We also got an episode of The Bachelor on Wednesday night last week, which was a lot for me to handle, but I watched it anyways. Tammy and McKenna, they were literally on the same team on Monday night. By Wednesday night, they were against each other. So they were fighting. They got called on a 2-1. And as we all know, on a 2-1, only one person comes back from the 2-1. One of the other girls will go home, or guys, if it's a bachelorette. So long story short, Tammy was the one that ended up getting the boot from the 2-1. And McKenna was all happy that Peter saved her. But wait just a second, McKenna. She went home during the rose ceremony literally 5 minutes later. I don't know why Peter wasted her time. Like, he literally should have just been like, you know what, I'm gonna end up sending you home in a minute too, so like you can go ahead and just go. But there are such things called ratings and rules, and I'm sure that the producers were like, wait, do this. And it was kind of funny. McKenna, she's one that you love to hate. But I will say this week with her gone, I like kind of missed her a little bit. Not because I liked her and like wanted her to win, just because she gave me stuff to laugh about, like her tongue and just like the things that she would say. Like, I don't know. She's freaking crazy. I bet she'll be on Paradise, but I don't know. Maybe she won't because she is like super, super young. But I bet she will be because, like, I mean, people just talk about her and talk about her and talk about her. She's memed the fuck out, right? Let's see what else. That was kind of the gist of Wednesday night. Honestly, not a lot happened. There's to talk about. Tammy and McKenna both went home, and that was good news. Let's see. And then, of course, The Bachelor this week. It was good. It was a 2-hour episode, as we know. And who went home? I'm like blanking a little bit on who went home. Natasha and Kelly. They were the two that got the boot this week. So now we are left with Kelsey, Hannah Ann, my girl, and Victoria F., the racist, and what's the other girl's name? Maddie. She came out this week and told Peter all about her, home life. She's a very, very religious girl, and she wants to be with someone who is, equally as religious and will respect her ways, which is cool. But I don't think Peter's that guy. I mean, we all know that he is not saving himself for marriage, which nothing wrong with that. But I think that might be kind of like in the realm of Madison's rules for herself. So that'll be interesting. And then we did see a preview of next week's episode. And we know that Peter sleeps with someone. I believe he sleeps with 2 girls. It's obviously not Madison, and she's obviously not going to be happy about that. I think he sleeps with Victoria F. And Hannah Ann, I guess. I personally didn't catch that it was 2 different girls. A bunch of people that I follow on the Instagram and friends of mine that also watch the show were like, no, Tabitha, it's going to be 2 girls. And I was like, what? So friends of mine think that it's Victoria F. and Hannah Ann. So we'll see about that. Yeah, and like I said earlier, like all of these girls are really in the running for being the Bachelorette. I don't think that Victoria F. will get it now, being with all of the things that have come out about her. I think her career is pretty much squashed, at least for now, which, whatever. But yeah, I personally would like it to be Kelsey. I mean, she had that champagne moment, which I just thought was iconic. So like we can talk about that forever next season. And I think that she would be a really, really good one. Like I said, also, I think it could be Victoria P. But yeah, I mean, I don't really see it being Hannah Ann just because I feel like Hannah, I don't know, she doesn't give me that Bachelorette vibe, but maybe. A lot of people think that she's going to win. But then, of course, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I posted an article last night that has come out. And there's speculation that Peter might not have ended up with any of the girls. He might have ended up with one of the producers. That's pretty crazy. You can go to my Instagram and click on the link in my bio to find that article. I don't know. I mean, I kind of am buying into it a little bit. I think that there's been so much drama with every single one of these girls this season. Victoria F. is literally like not interested in Peter. It's like so obvious to everyone except Peter and maybe even herself. I think Hannah Ann is a little bit too young, even though I love her and she knows how to play the game. And then I think Madison is just going to be like, I can't deal with it. I need like a good, wholesome guy, and you're not it. And then I think Kelsey is going to get mad at Peter for sleeping with 2 other girls because in the preview, she looked to be a little bit pissed off. So I don't know. That's just my prediction. I think that the producer thing might be true. We'll see. I mean, Chris Harrison did say it was an ending like never before, and Chris Harrison does not lie. I'm a little out of breath from all that Bachelor news. Okay, moving on to some Bravo news. I am not going to lie to you guys. I have been sleeping on the Housewives lately. I have not watched the latest episode of The Real Housewives nor the latest episode of New Jersey. I really need to get on that. I really need to. But like I said earlier, I've been so wrapped up in 90 Day Fiancé, I can't quit. You guys know how I get into these reality TV comas, and I can't come out of them until it's completely done. So I haven't watched Real Housewives of Atlanta or Jersey. I don't really know what's going on right now. So yeah, I'm not going to be talking about them today. Sorry about that. But of course, I'm keeping up with Vanderpump Rules. And yes, we had an episode, of course, on Tuesday night, and it was okay. I will say, I mean, it's no secret. I feel like everyone kind of feels this way, at least to the people that I've talked to. The season is like, it's That's a good way to describe it. Just I mean, like the new people, like they're starting to like warm up to me a little bit. Like I'm starting to like give a shit about what their storylines are like. But honestly, I'm not getting enough of the original cast. We got 2 good episodes with the original cast from Brittany's bachelorette party, which was, fabulous. And then last Tuesday was last night. But when you're listening to this, it'll be Thursdays or Friday, or maybe it'll be Saturday. So who knows? Anyways, the past episode of Vanderpump Rules was the Pride episode, which is always a good episode. I mean, they have a Pride episode every single year. And it's usually, the one to watch. And it wasn't bad, I will say. We got a lot more new people than we did old people. We got a lot of Sheena, of course, because she is the bridge between the new and the old. I love Dana so much. Like, honestly, if we had no other new people except for Dana, I would be really happy. I've said this a million times. Don't really love all the other new people, but Dana is amazing. Okay. As I say that, I remember that Charlie messaged me the other day because I made a meme about her and she thought it was funny. So I do like Charlie now, because anyone that can laugh at themselves is okay in my book. Yeah, and I asked her if she had really never eaten pasta, and she told me that I would have to wait and watch the season to see. And I was like, okay, whatever. So yeah, but she was nice. And yeah, she liked my meme and she commented on it and then she messaged me about it. So we're besties now, right? Right. Okay. But she wasn't in this episode. But back to Dana. She is just a true gem. She calls it like she sees it. I bet she's a Scorpio. I wonder. I need to find that out. She calls it like she sees it. She is a straight shooter. And she is honestly she is being verbally abused and attacked by Sheena every waking minute of her day. And she is taking it like a champ. And she is just throwing it back to Sheena. I loved it so much. First of all, they were all supposed to get their hair done together or whatever for Pride, her, Raquel, someone else. And then Sheena decided that she wanted to go. And so they kicked Dana out of it. I just want to say, Dana, if you're listening to this, and we all know that you are, your hair looked better than all of those girls that went and got it done. All of their hair looked greasy. Whoever did their hair put way too much product in it. It was grease. So you did a good job by not going and getting your hair done and doing your own hair, because it looked amazing. So good for you. James was back this week, which we all love. James is, he's a mess that we love to watch. We have not gotten enough of James this week or this season, but he was finally back this week DJing at Tom Tom, and I just love him. I just feel like he's just the misunderstood one of the bunch. And he's just, like I said, he's the one that we love to watch because he's always stepping in it. He's always putting his foot in his mouth. He's always doing the, kind of wrong thing. He's just the one that never gets old to me. Him and Lala fought and made up for the 20th time. We got a little bit of 50 Cent talk. As we all know, 50 Cent and Randall had a little bit of a falling out months ago, and Randall owed him some money. And, that was all over social media. I don't need to get into that, but James brought it up on last night's episode, and apparently he posted a picture on Instagram mocking what 50 or Fothy said to Randall, and that, of course, pissed Lala off, which obviously, that would piss me off too if I were Lala. And they got into a fight. They got into their 100th fight, and then they made up for the 100th time. So that's good. Yeah, I really liked Lala's hair in this week's episode. She should probably dye it that color for real. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? I thought it was hilarious that Jax was bartending at Sir, and honestly, I loved the interaction between him and Dana. I feel like they're like two peas in a pod. It was hilarious how he was like, she's not my type. I'm not into blondes. Okay, first of all, they cut to footage where you're dating 3 different blondes. Second of all, you're married, so your type is locked up and sealed. So why are you telling us that she's not your type? It's not. We hope so. But the truth is, Jax, you're not Dana's type. So moving on from that, The editing for Sheena is always every single episode. It is golden, good as gold, if you will. But this episode was particularly good. I just loved the montage of her admitting that she's not jealous of Dana, which it's clear that she is. She's very threatened. And then her and Dana go to the back alley, as they do when they need to talk. And Sheena was literally like, you're hanging out with all my friends. They're all going to your comedy show. They're all doing this with you. They're doing that with you. And it's like, Sheena, as Dana said, are you 16 or are you 34? Like, we can have the same friends. It's not a big deal. And yeah, so Sheena is definitely jealous of Dana. I think now in real time they have made up. I think we'll see that later in the season. Sheena said something about that in an interview that she was doing, I think on Watch What Happens Live. So yeah, hopefully that is a thing that happens because I love Dana. I guarantee next season that her and Dana will be friends because that's just how it goes in this world. Let's see. Next week, we have some pastor drama from Jax and Brittany's wedding. I guess this is the first I'm hearing of this. I did not know that there was drama. I know that Lance Bass ended up marrying them, on the day of their wedding, but I didn't know that. I guess the pastor said some homophobic, racist stuff. That's not uncommon for a pastor in Kentucky. It doesn't make it right, but it's not uncommon. And yeah, so they're all like pissed at Brittany and Jax. Like, why are you like letting this type of person marry you? And I don't know. They end up getting in a fight, it seems, but we all know how that turns out. And like I just said, Lance Bass ends up marrying them. How cool is that? Can you imagine? Like, Brittany was just like a little girl in Kentucky one day in her room dancing to Bye Bye Bye. And like in reality, like Lance Bass is going to marry her off, like officiate her wedding one day. That's crazy to me. That's so crazy to me. I want him to officiate my wedding one day. That would be so fun. And honestly, the last thing I have to say about this Vanderpump Rules episode was Puffy is the star of this show. Puffy literally melts my heart. If you're listening to this and you don't know who Puffy is, why are you here? But I will let you know that it is Lisa Vanderpump's dog. He's in a jumpsuit the whole episode. He's got his pride gear on. He is as happy as can be. If I did not have my own life, I would want the life of Puffy. Actually, I want Puffy's life over my life anyways. So, hello. I ran through that. I'm in a bit of a hurry today. But I did not want to sleep on the podcast again this week because, like I said, I was sick last week and I didn't get to podcast it up. But yeah, so I wanted to make sure that I sat down and got, all the pop culture news to you today. I don't have like a ton of actual like pop culture news. It's kind of been a dry season. And by a dry season, I mean dry a couple of weeks. I really only have Bachelor and Bravo stuff to tell you. But anyways, moving on to things I don't get. I've said this thing I don't get before. Okay, so as some of you know, I mean, all of you, maybe if you listen to other episodes of my podcast, if you are new, hi, thank you for joining. Make sure you subscribe and leave a comment and give me 5 stars and be like Dorinda and say something nice. But back to what I was about to say. I travel around. I'm a merchandiser coordinator. So I travel around to different stores for different brands and I do, merchandising setups, display setups for different brands, different products, yada, yada, yada. Okay, people. So this is my thing that I don't get. Like, unless you were raised in a barn, if you see someone fixing something, making something, organizing something, do not, and I repeat, do not come up to them and fuck up what they're doing. This is what you should do. Okay, so example, I'm like merchandising this like jean table, making it all pretty, making it all fabulous. And this lady comes up and she's just like throwing the jeans around, trying to find her size. Rude. Would you want your crusty kids coming up to your freshly set dining room table and just fucking it all up? No. So don't come to my jean table and mess it up. Ask me for your size 16 pant. Okay? Okay. So yeah, that's just my little PSA for you guys. If you are at a store and you see someone merchandising, either go find something else to fuck up or ask them if they can help you find something because you don't want to mess up their table. And use those words. Say, I don't want to mess up what you're doing, but like, could you grab me that medium or could you grab me that thing or da-da-da-da? They will be happy to do it for you because when you fuck it up, like this lady was today, all we're doing is saying all the mean things behind your back once you leave and like wishing you a slow, horrible death. So that's my thing I don't get. I just don't get people. I just don't get there's no manners. There's just like manners, people. Have manners. Anyways. Oh, and one thing I wanted to say is the New York, Real Housewives of New York trailer finally came out today. This season looks like it's going to be so good. It comes out April 2nd. I am so excited. I will say I am not happy that Bethany's not going to be on it, but this season looks like it's going to be pretty good regardless. So whatever. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I will be back next week. And in the meantime, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to all my shit. You can find me on Instagram at The Pop Culture Dweeb. You can find me on Twitter at TDweeb. You can find me on YouTube at The Pop Culture Dweeb. You can find, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you've found it, but you can also find it on Spotify. If you're listening to it on Spotify, you can find it on Apple. And of course, you can watch this bullshit on YouTube anytime you like. Okay, guys, bye.